virtual sales machine. And this is something that has not just changed our business, but helped change our lives, because that's the lifestyle that we want. We've done the hustle, we've done that, and now we're ready to automate. So.
Exactly. And here's the thing. You cannot automate what you do not know manually.
Right.
Quote Diane Hockman.
Yes.
And we really want to emphasize this because, yeah, it's really attractive to want to automate something right away. Just bam, 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 get sales right now. It's all automated. It sounds great, but you really need to know the process manually. You have to go through that work and that hustle first, and then you can start automating parts of the process. Okay, automation does not take a funnel or a process or a business that is not converting sales and suddenly make it convert sales. Okay? You have to take something that's already working and then you can automate it. Okay? Because all automation does is it takes the same process and it puts it in automation, right? It takes the same results that you're getting now and it amplifies that. It helps you to get those results better. So if you're converting 0 sales and then you automate that, you get 0 sales but a lot faster. So you cannot automate what you do not know manually. So here's the deal. We want to do more than just show you our process. We want to show you how we came up with this. We want to teach you how to fish. So that, because here's the other thing that can happen, is that when you see a leader come up on stage and they show you what they're doing and it looks great, what you don't see, I mean, you're seeing the tip of the iceberg, right? You don't see everything else that they had to do to get to that point. Fair enough? So we want to show you exactly what we had to go through to put this together so that you understand the process. And you don't think, because when we first tried this, we were really bad at it, okay? But here's the thing. This all starts about a year ago when we were making our run for L6. Leah.
L6 for us was a huge goal, it was a huge challenge. Brian had sent out an email challenging all the L5s, who wants it for the drink? Who wants it? We want someone. Who wants it? We'll give you a launch. Ooh, that sounds good. We were way far away from it. We weren't even close. And I said, I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay? And I told Brian yes.
Good. I'm like, whoever's gonna try that's crazy.
And I told Brian yes, and then I told Todd that I told Brian yes. And it was insane, pure insanity. At this point in our business, we were all manual when it came to closing sales into My Lead System Pro. It was generate the lead, call the lead, get the exposure, follow up with the lead with another phone call, and then close them and get them going. That's intense, right? This is us. Henry, our youngest, he was the one that was screaming in the back yesterday that wouldn't come up front. He was just 2 months old.
Oh my God.
And he was born May 1st of last year. And this is me during this hustle. Okay, I have one headset.
It was 67 members in 19 days that Leah had closed on the phone.
And this was 16 to 18 hour days making calls. That was starting in the morning, and working my time zones, because you can only call people during certain times of the day. And towards evening, I switched to Australia and New Zealand. So I could keep calling till early morning hours.
And that's why you see the 2 headsets.
Right, because one's for USA calls, and the other one had my international brand on it. So this was just beast mode. I mean, it was insanity. It was worth it. Right? We were really excited. We hit our goal, but this is what it took at the beginning. Okay? This is where we were last year when we came up on stage. Okay?
But we learned the process.
Oh yeah, a massive process, right? Got that down. We were really excited. Okay, this was actually on my birthday last year in July. We did it. We hit the goal. Imagine spending 16 to 18 hours a day calling people and trying to do this thing, and then all of a sudden our final day, and we were averaging 5-6 signups a day during most of it, and then on that final day, he laughed at me. He woke up the morning and I'm like, we're getting it today. Today's the day. And he's like, honey, yeah. Because we were 13 people away. I said, no, tomorrow's my birthday. I'm gonna be done with this by tomorrow. Today's the day. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. And he didn't believe it all. And we did it that day. We got 13 members. Okay?
And then Brian,
on top of the world, right?
yeah, Holmes, man. you're awesome, right?
Yeah, and it just felt really, really good.
And then this happened.
Right. I'm like, what?
Who is this?
So this
Michelle,
so-called
22.
Michelle, right? I've never heard it before in my life. Just got a 22. What?
And check this out. Look at the date here, July 22nd.
Yeah.
Okay? And so we're like, okay, newbie has some success, great. We're about to hit L6.
Yeah.
July 22nd, here's July 25th. Raked in another 14. Same day that we hit L6 is like,
And our big one was 13, and we were
yeah,
like,
and our big one
we
was
thought that was impossible.
and here she comes and she brings in another 13 just 3 days later. Okay? Now, that sounds pretty cool, right? Now check this out. July 29th, 4 days after that, another 32.
Yeah. We're like, what?
Newbie. Who is this lady?
You know, what the fuck is she doing? This is. She wasn't doing what we were doing.
No.
That's not possible.
No.
So she really got our attention, and we had to celebrate and live the dream and do all that stuff first. But what we learned and the process that we went through to get to L6 was insane, and I really never wanted to do that again, like ever. And I was like, well, what the heck is she doing? Because I need to figure that out, right? I don't want to spend my life on the phone. Our oldest son, I just found a video on Facebook, came up in our memories. And it was from him at 2 years ago, at 2 years old, picking up a toy phone and doing my script.
And that's how he memorized her phone number.
Yeah, that's how you memorize all our phone numbers because of my calling script. Hey, this is Leah, da 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 da, give me a call, da da da. And so he did that at 2 years old because that's all Mama ever did. It was push the phones.
No, and then it was coming that quiet. Like,
Yeah.
you knew that part.
So I knew that I didn't want to do it again, and I knew she had something figured out, and that we wanted to dive in and see what this was really about. So.
And Facebook challenges is what she was doing.
Right.
Right. And it completely changed the way that, not only just everybody in MLSP
Revolutionized.
just really thought about the way that we were doing our marketing and about what's possible.
Right, because a new person without a list, without experience, could just put up those kind of numbers is pure insanity. And we had never even thought that was possible, and then she goes and does it. And we're like, oh, dang.
So here's the thing. What makes a Facebook challenge so dangerously effective? Right? Has anybody in here read The Like Switch? One?
Gotta be more.
2, 3, a couple more. So if you go back, the very first wake-up call we ever did for MLSP, we talked about this book. It's the story about an FBI agent whose job it was to recruit spies from foreign governments. Okay? And basically the way he puts it is that his job was to get people to like him. Okay? So think about this. His job was to recruit foreign spies, and he says the best way to do that is to get them to like him. Right? He says that there's 4 factors involved in flipping this like switch, right? To get them to like him to the point where they're willing to become a spy. Right? Number 1 is frequency of interaction. Number 2 is a proximity, right? So proximity. The duration of the interactions, and then also the intensity of the interactions. Okay? And the cool thing about these Facebook challenges, as opposed to, say, a sales webinar, in a sales webinar, what do we have? An hour, hour and a half to convince somebody to make a buying decision. Okay? Now, what a Facebook challenge does is it takes that same process and it spreads it out over the course of 4 or 5 days, or however long your challenge is. And so
You're building familiarity.
yeah, you're building familiarity.
And William here, from in our group sheet, he went through it, and that's how he got joined into My Assistant Pro. And he said he just loved us. Like me in particular. One day Todd was on one of the videos. He's like, "Who's that guy?" Because I shot videos. I did the content in the course, and he's like, "Yeah, I was right there, fingertips. You could have told me anything, and I would have gone." Right? This is why it's very, very effective. And
It also integrates video.
Video is everything. Video. You saw some about it yesterday. You're going to see more about it later today. But video, okay? Talking to people, that's like why text messaging and messaging on chat can be dangerous. You can't, what's the inflection of their voice? voice. Are they serious? Are they joking? What's going on, right? There's so much nonverbal communication, but video offers a lot of that. And so it really builds that know, like, trust factor. They feel like they know you. They feel your personality. You feel that you're genuine. And you know, if you're gonna watch my videos 4 or 5 days in a row, you're gonna kind of like me by the time you're done, or you're gonna have quit, right? So it's very, very effective. Urgency and scarcity. There's a schedule, right? You have to sign up by this date and time if you're gonna make it, okay? And then you have to set the time in your schedule to attend. So some very good marketing strategies are embedded into these Facebook challenges to make them very effective. And that's what, whether Michelle knew it or not, and Lisa definitely did, right? But what these challenges, this is how they work. This is why they work. So, oh, and the interaction. Community. Pat Flynn this morning, right? Talking about building a community. It does the same thing, right? You're building a community of people who are all learning together, who are, can, you know, interact, ask questions, and they're building a community feel at the same time.
People feel supported. This slide, by the way, is dedicated to our friend and mentor, Diane Hockman, because we know how much she loves text on her slides. Just kind of an inside joke. Last year after Live the Dream, we have a very similar type of slides, and so we had a lot of text on all of our slides, and she comes back to us and says, "You guys got to get rid of that." That's the way we do it.
Okay, so, but again, Diane, you cannot automate what you do not know manually. Okay,
so it's not like we went through this and just suddenly put everything on automate.
Absolutely not.
Right? We had to go back to the basics. We had to learn what they were doing manually before we could automate anything. So where did we go?
And we say we mean me, because I was like, I'm not doing polls anymore. I have to figure out something else, because in this part of our business, Todd is working the funnels and the traffic and more of the back end stuff, and my job was calling. Well, if I'm not going to call, I got to figure out something else, right? And so I dove in to Facebook challenges, and of course there have been webinars, the Wednesday night webinars through My Lead System Pro. This is in they changed the name, so I always forget, but in the training tab, it's now training library, and there's a section for Facebook challenges. That's where we started, guys.
But and L6,
yeah.
Leaders, and that was key.
L6.
And we went to beginner courses, Facebook challenges.
Yeah.
And this is what you're going to find in there is 4 really great trainings, each one about an hour and a half long. We went through all of them multiple times.
Yeah.
We studied these things, studied exactly what they were doing. And it was hard.
Well, I set this up, and this is sort of like my baby, that I was going to figure this out because I didn't want to call anybody. I wanted to get off the phones. And so I went through their stuff, and I was like, hey, I can do this. I created the videos that I wanted to use, created the content, and then did it. And I was like, well, I'm not calling people, but this isn't what I wanted. Okay? It was hard. It was a lot of coordination and scheduling. And I found that I was on Facebook all day long, and that's one thing that I did not want. It was, scheduling our posts. There was a promotion phase to get people in, for a few days before. It was adding and welcoming the new members, getting them started.
And it had to be done on a specific day.
Right, on a schedule. And, uploading the videos. And for most people, that's not a big deal. When you live in the country, in the middle of nowhere with, was it 1 megabyte upload speed? Tops. That's right. That's the most that we ever get. And so that could take hours to upload a short video. So that was a big inconvenience for us, and then answering questions all the time connected to our phones, and promoting based on that schedule.
Right, well, promoting the pay challenge at the end of the 5-day to get them into the next one, right?
So we had to live on a schedule that was a little more restraining than we wanted to, and then you had to do it all over again once we got into the 10-day challenge. It worked, got some sign-ups, but it really wasn't quite what we were looking for. So, and then you have to go clear it all out. Okay, so we did all of that stuff. We upload, we do it, we run it, and then you go back and then you clear it all out, and you do it all again. And so, it works, very effective, but it just wasn't the leverage that we were looking for in our business. So, other things that we saw, going through the process, we really got more engagement. Day 1 videos that we did in the group had tons of comments and people checking them out and blah, blah, blah. And then it very steeply dropped off. Very steeply into day 2 just had 2 comments. And then day 3 and 4 and 5 had none. it didn't keep our audience engaged. People, you know, I don't know about you, but I'm in hundreds of groups on Facebook, and it can very easily get lost, I think, for folks. Even when you tell them to turn on the notifications, blah, 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 they weren't doing it. We also ran into issues because we started this just before the holidays, and we were like, well, if we're going to do a 5-day, but then the 10-day that they're going to pay for is actually going to run into Thanksgiving or Christmas, and then they're not going to want to pay money in a course that they have to do during Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And so scheduling issues was a real thing at that time of year, especially. We had to run around 2 weeks like that. No, we want sign-ups all the time. Like I don't want to, you know, just have, you know, put all this work in and then get them on one day. I just want to just do it. So we had to look at how we solve these problems. Okay? What sorts of things we can do to make this work better for us. So we did 1 or 2 of these manually first, figured out what we didn't like, realized knowing what we loved about it and knowing what we didn't like, we had to look at how we solve these problems. So what we were looking for, we wanted higher engagement. Okay, higher engagement throughout the entire process. We wanted to really minimize the drop-off that happened each of those days. Okay, we wanted to, you know, if we're going to do this, I want them to actually pay attention and see what we're doing and stay engaged with us. Eliminate scheduling issues. I don't want to have to go in on certain times a day and post things on a schedule. I just want that all taken care of. I don't want to have to deal with uploading videos that take hours on poor internet. I just didn't want to deal with that. And then we wanted something that we could run perpetually, so that when someone was ready to start learning, they can start learning right away and not have to wait for a certain schedule when our next thing is. And this was even more important with the holidays and having to take several weeks off because of the holidays. So we wanted to find a way to automate all of that stuff for our business to make this what we really wanted it and what we had a feeling it could become.
So the solution that we found, that we kind of came up with, was actually what allowed us to be able to hit the rank of L7, right? And to be able to do it without actually ever having to call a single lead. So this is what the rest of our referral chart looks like. This is a monthly chart. And you can see between L6 and L7, it took us a little over a year to accomplish. The cool thing, and you can see last month in July, right? We brought in like 140 people, and then so far this month, only 2 weeks in, we've already got, 66. The cool thing about this is that everything from here on out was full automation. We didn't have to worry about it. Everyone that we had brought in from that point on had come through our automated funnel. Okay? But we didn't invent this from scratch. Okay, like we say, we stand on the shoulders of giants. We don't try to reinvent the wheel. So we went through the trainings. We went through the training that Lisa and Jen and Michelle did, and then we also checked out what the Kay Samji and Sherry Brown and Jelena were doing. And then we actually reached out to them and asked them questions. You know, our engagement is kind of low. You know, are we doing something wrong? Is that normal? Blah blah blah. Right? Trying to figure out exactly what's going on. We also got some help from
Lisa. Yeah, because right about this time we're starting to try to really figure this out. Lisa's like, boom, she got 30-something signups. Like, help us, right? And so she did. She showed us what she was doing, and it was really helpful and helped us improve upon what we were doing.
And we got some really, really awesome tips just from going through hers, right? And then the missing piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
How many of you here have the Attraction Marketing Virtual Summit?
Okay.
Where they're not just tons and tons of gold nuggets dropping in. Okay. If you don't have this, check it out and get it, because this was just one 30-second clip from Antonio Thompson in this thing.
But all of this is
one
tip.
One tip.
Yeah, it's in your back office at my Lisa's Grow. I highly suggest that you get this, because just one little thing, 30 seconds of what he said at the very end of his interview, blew our minds and was like, this is the answer. He said, I think Norbert asked him, well, what do you got coming up? What are you working on? He said, well, I'm thinking about doing a Facebook challenge through ManyChat. And I went,
we like did the Vince Reed thing. So that was it. We basically took a Facebook challenge and changed the delivery method to ManyChat, which created our automated sales machine. So what this allowed us to do, okay, we pulled in, since we started this thing in December, 428 automated pro and premium MLSP trial memberships. Wow. You want to see the funnel, right? You want to see what it looks like? What we did. So here's our landing page, right? And now, like we said, one of the neat things that Facebook Challenge does is that it has that sense of urgency and scarcity, right? It's a scheduled event. It has a specific start time and a stop date, and it's something that you have to set aside time for every single day. Now, even with the one that you run perpetually, every single day that you're promoting, yeah, it's something that people have to be in front of every day. But how do you have that sense of urgency to get started right now? Like there's a start date that you have to get in by, and we do that with a little countdown timer. Okay, and deadline funnel. If any of you've seen deadline funnel, that is a great way to really lock in that sense of urgency, because they have countdown timers that are tagged specifically to each person, to their IP address, to their cookies, to their emails. So even if they leave, they come back, or they log in from a different device, that countdown timer still shows an accurate time, right? It doesn't reset itself and they think, oh yeah, this is fake urgency. No, it's real urgency because you're using deadline funnel. We also add some social proof down below. That's another thing that's a very important part of our landing page. This landing page gets about a 70% conversion rate. So adding that social proof down below, just some Facebook comments about what people, the successes people are having in this training. And then obviously this is like a template that you have inside of MLSP, the same type of template with the video and the button and what you're going to learn. That's basically what we did. So we just replicated that. Once you opt in, okay. So here's the other thing: is that we always get people on our email list first. Okay, we never build our ManyChat list without building email list first.
And I think there's going to be some more topics on this later today, but does everybody know what ManyChat is? If you do not know what ManyChat is, raise your hand. Okay, so let's clarify that.
Right,
so Facebook has a relatively newer feature where they're going to allow integration. It's like an email list, but in Facebook. Okay, where as a business page, not from your personal profile, but from a business page on Facebook, you can use a service like ManyChat to send automated messages out to people's Facebook Messenger. So they're getting the dings on their phones. Okay, they're getting it's
like text messaging, text message marketing, but for Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, and it's incredibly effective. I wasn't around when email marketing was new and was like crazy effective, but I think that's where we are now with ManyChat, with Facebook bots, because they're not used to getting these yet, right? Email, everyone's got like a bajillion 5 emails coming in. This is different, and it's very, very effective.
Exactly. And the purpose of this is not to teach you how to use ManyChat, because you have ManyChat training and Facebook Messenger bot training in your back office inside of MLSP. Okay? We just want to show you how we integrated it with what we were doing with the challenge. So when they click that button, so they opt in, we get their email address, they're on our email list. Now we have to get them to opt into ManyChat, to our Messenger bot. So we have a video on there, and it's just instructions. Okay, great, congrats, you're in. Now click the button below this video to start getting your lessons, and we're going to send them to you in Facebook Messenger.
And if you notice through the rest of these slides here, Todd made a point for I don't know what reason to make sure you get the worst still screens or whatever of each of the videos going forward. So enjoy. I'm a very animated speaker apparently, and so they're going to be interesting. But why do we make sure to get people opt into email first? That's important. You could get more people who actually get through the funnel or get into the training if we went first to ManyChat. But we go to email first because we own our email list. We own it. And yes, ManyChat is awesome, and we're going to use the crud out of it because it works really, really well. But at any day, Facebook will be like, no, I think we're done with these, and they're gone. Okay? So we always build our email list first as the priority, and then push them to ManyChat.
And so when they click that button, they get an opt-in message, okay, for the 5-day Facebook recruiting workshop. Okay, that they get the welcome message that says, hey, thanks for joining. We just need to confirm that you want to receive messages here from us on Facebook Messenger. Click the button below to start your training, right? And then we also subscribe them to an automated sequence, okay, to the 5-day sequence. So every day they're going to get a new message for their new lesson that day. Okay, so that's that part. When they click that button, this is the message that they get. On the left-hand side, you see, hey, Todd, welcome and congrats, and you can put emojis and the little stickers and stuff in there. Click this button to get started, okay? When they click that button, this is what pops up. So instead of hosting our videos inside of a Facebook group, we actually host them on a separate website, okay, on our website. And we just embed the video on a page. One of the really neat tips that we got from Lisa, right, is when you're running ads, if you want to bring down your ad costs, just add a little offer on the side. So that little $7 offer really helps bring down our ad costs. So this video just basically welcomes them to the challenge and gives them some instructions. Okay, now join the Facebook group, okay, because we still have Facebook groups.
Right, and we use, because what was important, one of the things that was important about why Facebook challenges work is the community aspect, right, and that interaction. Well, we still wanted that, so people are receiving their training and they're getting dinged every single day, so they can't forget about it, right? They're getting that reminder every day, but we want that engagement, so we still created a single, ongoing Facebook community, a group, so that people can ask questions, they can get help, they can feel supported, we can build a community through the Facebook group.
Right. Plus, we're also building a Facebook group now where we have a captive audience.
Yes.
So we can continue to market to them and send them videos and value.
Yeah, this is the group, okay? And this group has been very, very valuable. And there was questions, I know when Facebook challenges first came out, well, do you clear out the 5-day group? Do you keep the 5-day group? There's all kinds of questions like that. Guys, you're building an audience that loves you. It doesn't matter if they buy the $10 thing now, keep them around. Like you're building, build, engage, sell. So these people, if you've provided great training during that 5-day session, even if they don't move on to the next step, they still love you. Maybe timing's bad, maybe they're just not that interested in that specific offer. That's okay. Keep around, continue to feed value into the group, because then you can promote other stuff.
Well, and a lot of times, you give them the 5-day challenge, 5 days in a row. A lot of times it takes them a little while to catch up, right? Maybe they watch the first day, something popped up. They can always continue.
And there's actually, I would say, Heather's here from our 5-day group. She is not a member of MLSP, but she's in our 5-day group. She joined us here in MLSP at Live the Dream, because we give value, right? And we had another avenue to promote to a very engaged audience.
Next issue. She basically spent this entire video smearing and so basically, and that by the end, that's how we get our members. And like I said, we don't have to call us to the lead. Now, looking at the numbers in the back end, here's our drop-off rates, just to kind of give you an idea. People who start day 1, 5,144 versus people who actually finish day 5. And these are, I don't know if this is normal. I don't know if this is, this is just what we see. Okay, just to give you a reference.
But we know it's a heck of a lot better than what we got.
Yeah, it was a heck of a lot better than what we were doing. And we have a 27% close rate on the day 5 participants. 27% of the people who made it to day 5 move on, they buy the 10-day trial inside of MLSP. Okay. Now the cool thing about this, when you do this sort of tracking, so the other thing that happens, every time you click one of those buttons in ManyChat to watch the next video, it puts a tag on you. And so that's how we know how many people have watched each video. It's because when you watch a video, it puts a tag on you. And so that's how we can track how many people made it to each day's video. Okay, and so...
It gave us the marketing analytics to put, that we couldn't get from Facebook.
Exactly.
Really, really helpful.
But that also allows us to know, to be able to see, okay, is there a big drop-off rate between this day and this day, or is, where's the drop-off rate really, kind of big enough where we want to see what's wrong? right? So if there was something that happened day one that, okay, well maybe this isn't engaging enough or this isn't interesting enough and they just, they didn't want to continue, we can fix that because we know these numbers. More numbers. So our traffic into this, we did with Facebook story ads. And that's another training that you have inside of MLSP, Facebook story ads. We were getting, and this is the exact ad. Okay, Leah, and actually I was with her, but we were kayaking down in Marco Island, Florida. It's just a very simple picture with a story. And we were getting we averaged $2.16 per lead. Okay, and again, 428 MLSP trial memberships, pro and premium memberships, and we converted 62% of those to the full membership. Okay, that's looking at our statistics, 62% of them converted. That equates to 265 full MLSP members, which results in $26,500 in upfront commissions. Now, the other thing that we would say is that that's just upfront commissions. Remember, we know that each MLSP trial membership to us is worth $317 on average. So you can do the math, take 428, multiply that by $317. And that's what we can expect long term from this work that's been put into this.
The benefits of the Benny Check challenges, guys, it takes something that was good and makes it great. So one thing to remember, always build your email list first, ManyChat second. Okay? Write that down, don't get that reversed. But the big difference, right? Messenger, sending messages through Messenger, we were seeing an 80 to 99% open rate on these messages. You're never going to see that on an email. Well, maybe Diane can see that on an email. Regular folks cannot see that on an email. That's insane. It's really, really high. The same know, like, and trust factors, the frequency, urgency, all of that stuff, or the frequency and familiarity you're building, it still works the same way. Works great. You can create through funnels, right? Through setting up your funnels the right way, you can create on those spages the scarcity and the urgency that you need. And you can promote it all the time. So you're not having to worry about scheduling conflicts, about doing it on cycles, anything like that. You just are perpetually promoting all the time. Okay? You still have the community, you're able to ask questions, build that environment, and use that same audience ongoing for other promotions as well, which is great. And promote other things to your ManyChat list. We do that all the time. So not only is this getting your people into My Lead System Pro, in our case it was My Lead System Pro that we did, but we're also building an engaged ManyChat list, we're building an email list, and we're building a Facebook community at the same time. And so having all of those audiences that we're building is incredibly helpful.
Exactly. And the big thing that we want you to take away from this is the process that we had to go through to figure this out. Because like I said, we weren't successful with this when we first tried it out. The first couple times we ran our Facebook challenge, it really wasn't that great.
Yeah. We got some results, but it's
exactly. But then we had to go back, and we had to go back from the very beginning. We had to learn the manual process, learn what other people were doing, go through the training that other people have done, ask, network with Lisa and anybody else who was doing these challenges and see what they were experiencing, what they were doing. Yeah, that's the power of networking here. And then obviously be willing to experiment with some things ourselves and fall flat on our face. There was things that we tried in ManyChat that didn't work, and we had to optimize even from there. But we didn't have this instant results, right? This was a process that we had to go through in order to be able to accomplish this. But when you're willing to solve your own problems and then help other people solve theirs, anything is going to be possible.
Awesome. Thank you guys for